Hi, my name is Rukaya and I'm blind. Something I want to bring a bit more awareness to that I haven't heard many other creators talk about is feeling lonely and isolated when you have a disability, because it's a lot more difficult. The world isn't accessible and there isn't enough awareness for people to know how to approach us or help us, and there's this big stigma of, oh my gosh, I can't talk to a disabled person, I don't know how to talk to them. So I just wanted to talk a bit more about my experience and what I kind of do that helps a little bit more. So personally for me, one of the reasons why I struggle so hard to meet people and make friends is because I can't recognize people's faces. I can't see facial features and I can't see where the group of people is. So I know most people would just walk up to a group, say hi, introduce themselves and carry on from there, but because of my blindness I can't just do that. It's not as simple. And personally for me, I've only ever been in educational settings. I'm going to university in September and obviously I'm really nervous about meeting people and making friends because there isn't enough awareness on this topic, and not many able-bodied people know that we need their help to break the barrier a little bit so I can talk to them and they can talk to me. If you're disabled yourself and you struggle with loneliness, I completely understand. It takes a massive toll on your mental health and self-worth, and it overall just feels awful. But just know you're absolutely not alone. If you need help, get help. If you want to reach out to someone who is nice to you, you can do that. I'm going to share a few tips and I really hope it can help someone. Obviously I'm going to share it more towards being visually impaired because that's a disability I personally have, but at the end of the day, able-bodied people should know we're people as well and should treat us like people and nothing else. So if you're able-bodied and you're watching this, please just treat us like people because that's who we are. We want friends too. So something I do when I do meet people, even if it's just a brief hello, is I always say, when you see me around, can you please say hi and your name? Maybe even where we met. Let's say it was from lunch or something. You'd say, hi, it's Jo from lunch, we met yesterday. So I know exactly who I'm speaking to because I can't see your face, I can't recognize who you are. And just saying your name before you speak helps me associate your voice and your name. So the next time we meet, it might take a while, but I'll start to associate your voice and recognize who you are. Something else I do, and it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but as someone who's comfortable talking about my disability, I do a presentation at the beginning of the academic year about disability awareness and telling my fellow students that I do struggle approaching people, and if they could help me out by breaking the barrier and approaching me instead by saying their name before they speak, maybe inviting me to lunch, just letting them know how to sighted guide as well. That's something I found to be really useful. And another thing you can do is, when you do meet someone, just ask them, hey, do you want to go out for coffee? Hey, do you want to go out for lunch today or tomorrow? 9 times out of 10 they'll probably say yes. And something else I wanted to bring up is, when I started doing that, I used to feel really guilty. I used to feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a burden, they need to guide me, they need to help me get my food, they need to tell me what's on my plate. But I realised I don't need to feel guilty. It is really difficult, but you don't need to feel guilty if you're someone disabled and you need accommodations made. Because again, look, people don't care. They're just happy to help. And once they get to know you, that's all that matters. And if your needs are what's stopping you from being friends with a person, if it's from their end, that's their fault. That shows you who they are. But if it's from your end, stop feeling so guilty. If the situations were reversed, I'm sure you'd be absolutely happy to help out. I'll do another video in the future talking about how it's so easy to feel like a burden when you're disabled and how you feel so naggy and guilty all the time. but please, you're not. If those are the accommodations you need, those are the accommodations you need, and people are happy to help you. So yeah, these are a few tips on how I battle loneliness and how I make it just a little bit easier to meet people. But again, if you're disabled and you feel isolated, I completely understand that you're never alone. Please reach out if you need anything from anybody. And if you're able-bodied, please help us break the barrier. Please approach us and say hi. We are people too, just to reiterate. If you're disabled and you have any tips, please leave them in the comments. And if you're able-bodied, what do you think of this video? What are your thoughts? Please like, share and follow for more.